Well, welcome back, everyone. My next guest has never been on the air with me before. I have with me Cynthia Markin, and she's the owner of Angels Over Me Estate Liquidators. Welcome to the show. It's interesting that we had what we had on before.
I know.
I'm sure you were like, wow, that stuff is really cool. I would love to be able to have a house that has that in there, right? Let's talk a little about you, what you do, and welcome to the show.
What we do is we help people who maybe have a loved one that passed away, and they come maybe from out of town sometimes, and they look and they see this big, huge collection of things, and they don't know what to do with it.
Right.
And that's where we come in and we take over, we set it up for them, we clean out all the cupboards, the cabinets, everything, trash and everything. We sell it, and they get a huge profit from it, and they don't have to deal with it.
So here's something that I want to know, because you said that you are very different than the other people out there that might do something like this. Let's talk about what that is.
Yes, there are lots of liquidator companies out there, don't get me wrong, and a lot of them are great, but we don't refuse service. So when you call me, we're going to do your estate, whether it's huge or tiny. So that is a big help, because other people will go evaluate you and say, you know what, you don't have enough stuff, or it's just not good enough for us. And that's sad, because everyone needs help, especially when they're going through so many emotions. And when you look at your dining room table, they look at it as that's a memory. That's Thanksgiving dinner. It's not just a piece of wood. So it's really hard for them to deal with all this and the pictures and everything. And so we take over because we're not emotionally attached to it.
Right. But I want to talk about people that, let's say, don't live here, and their parents do. We have a lot of that happens,
Yes.
right? And so how does the process work? All right, because they don't live here. They are just now lost their parents. They have a home here now that has everything in it. Maybe they can't leave their job to come and clean it, and that's the hardest part. I had that when my mom and dad had passed, and I was living here in Arizona. They lived in California. That wasn't so easy. How does it work when somebody calls you? What's the process look like?
When they call me, I basically tell them, they're like, where do I begin? Don't. Take out what is emotionally attachment to you, heirlooms, things you value, and that's it. Leave the rest. Even though it looks like garbage, do not throw out garbage. Nothing is garbage. Everything sells.
Wow. Even, well, you said trash. I mean, it sells.
Well, if it's in a trash can, it's probably trash. I'm
Right.
not your
But I
dirty
mean,
food.
But food, canned foods and things like that?
Canned food, unexpired, we'll try to sell it. Most of the time we donate to a homeless shelter.
Okay. Well, what does happen? Let's say, how does it look when you do a sale of a home? How do you put it? Well, the sale of, I said that, the things in the home. What? How do you make that happen?
We go in, sign a contract with you. We take pictures immediately and get the advertising going right away. So that's another way we're different, is we're walking in with a contract ready to go. We'll set you an appointment, and that'll be based on how much stuff you actually have in the home. So if there's a lot of stuff and every cupboard and every nook and cranny stuff full of something, then we're going to probably need a good week to set it up. But in general, we can set up within 3 days, get the sale on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and your whole house is cleaned out within a week and a half. And realtors love that, because at the end, they're ready to put pictures and get it on the market for you.
Now, your phone number to call, it's 480-622-8818. Your website is angelsoverme.com. We say that we do free consultations, you say that you do, but you never ever refuse anyone. So it doesn't matter. When you go in and you sit and talk with them, you're going to work with them.
Right.
Bottom line.
So yeah, when they ask for a free consultation, sometimes they just want someone to talk to.
Okay.
But what they're really looking for is an appraisal of their stuff. And basically, we don't do appraisals of stuff because the appraisal system doesn't mean it's going to sell for that. It's only worth what you can actually sell it for.
So how do you work then? How do you do it?
So we go in, we look at everything. We don't tell them a value. As long as your expectations are low, meaning at the end of this sale, everything is going to be gone and your house can go up for sale. And that's really where the money is. It's not in all the little knickknacks and art
Right.
and antique stuff that's in the home necessarily. We do get a lot of money from that, but at the same time,
Right.
people think it's worth millions of dollars. We look up everything. If it's unique or unusual, we can get appraisals from people. But people don't understand the appraisal process. Sometimes they think, oh, well, it was appraised at this for insurance purposes. Mm-hmm. That means that's what it's cost to replace it today. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that that's what you're going to get for it at all.
I think for you, what it really comes down to, for everyone out there that's dealing, it's a convenience, right? You want to, if you don't want to deal with this, okay, you call, you pick up the phone, give her a call, and then they'll come in, they work with anyone, it doesn't matter what the size home is, and they'll take care of it for you.
Exactly.
And that's it. And it just takes away a burden
yes.
while you can grieve and do it with what you have to, exactly. right?
Yes.
Now, the phone number again to call, it's 480-622-8818. They work valley-wide, okay? And then the site is angelsoverme.com. So you say, remove nothing.
Absolutely.
Nothing, unless there's something you want.
Right. If you want to keep something memorable to you, absolutely. Right. Family photos, of course. Paperwork. Outside of that, leave it.
Leave it, and then they'll take care of it. Now, my question to you is, once you come in and you've assessed everything of how it's going to be, generally, how long does the process work?
Depending on how much stuff is in the home, a super hoarder will take about 5 days to set up, and then the following week we'll do the sale.
So you also will do a house as well?
Oh yeah, I've done several of them,
really?
And they bring in a lot of money.
Because they have a lot of stuff.
Yes, one family said, what are we going to do with all this junk? She ended up making $10,000 on junk.
What she thought was junk. And here's the thing, there's always something for someone.
Right.
My mom and dad used to always say that to me. There is something for everyone.
Yeah, so they thought, like Legos, well, we played with them as kids. Well, Mom kept them all in pristine packages, and they sold for $100 a piece.
See? So you don't know. Mom knew what she was doing when she was hoarding, believe me.
That's right.
Right? Now, okay, so the process, the outcome, I think people I want to hear that again. The outcome is what, for this you have to understand. It isn't necessarily, your mom may have not kept everything in boxes like that. They have a lot of stuff, they don't have a lot of stuff. My parents lived in a big home, but they didn't have a lot of stuff. They had a lot of big furniture, the furniture was there but they didn't have, I would say, a lot of stuff. Instead of, what is the difference when someone goes and then they donate it to, let's say, to the Salvation Army or whatever? What's the difference for them?
The difference is if you go to the Salvation Army, sometimes they'll pick it up. During COVID, they're not picking up. So you are totally stuck with it. You're stuck with your mattresses, you're stuck with your couches, you're stuck with your chairs.
You know what? I forgot all about that. You're absolutely right. They are not picking up right now.
Not at all. They will not step foot in your home.
So this is why it's so important to call someone like you.
Yep. We're going to get rid of it somehow, some way. So if we can't sell it, we'll donate it for you. We'll take it to them. So they'll accept it if it's taken to them, but they won't accept it if you have to come get it.
Right, and believe me, right now, especially when you're dealing with a death in the family, and you've got all sorts of other things to do, one of the last things that you want to have to take care of is what's left in the house.
Right, and Carol, like you mentioned, you went to your family's home. How many hours did one picture set you back in looking through things?
It was days.
Yeah.
It wasn't an hour. I'm sorry. I just 3-hour drive. No, 4-hour drive just to get there.
Right.
That was time alone.
Yes,
but no, honestly, you're right. It is about time. Again, we talked a little bit about the convenience of having someone do it for you and making it very simple.
Yes.
Taking away that, you get to sit there and pick out what it is that you want, the things that you need. But then once it's done, what do most of your clients say once they're done with your service? Really?
Yeah. You really are an angel over us.
I want to also make it very clear for people. You don't take care of the sale of the house.
No.
Right? We want people to understand that. Basically what you do is just take the house as is.
Inside.
Whatever's inside, it doesn't matter how big or how small. And I think what she really wanted to make sure that everybody understood what made her different was that you will take anything, whether it's a lot or a little. You do not refuse anyone.
Exactly.
And so you can call her direct. Her phone number is 480-622-8818. They do work valley-wide. And I think the best thing to do when you're in this sort of a situation is call. Have that conversation.
Yes.
Tell her what's going on. And I think that's really what it is all about today. And it has been for a while. We all have a story.
Mhm.
We all have something that's going on. And how you can help is all they do, just call you and say, listen, this is what I got, this is what I'm dealing with. And you say, let me help.
Exactly.
The number again is 480-622-8818. And again, you can check them out on the website. It is angelsoverme.com. When you go ahead to put things up on for them to, how do they view your sales? How do you do that? Is it online? Is it on Facebook?
It is online. I advertise through estatesales.net. And then you can just Google Angels Over Me. You can see all our upcoming sales. We have one in
Do you have
Scottsdale.
one coming up right
Yes.
now? What do you got? Tell them what you got.
We have a Scottsdale sale with mini antiques, bunch of depression glass. So fun things.
We had a lot of that.
Kachina dolls. We talked about Faust earlier. Kachina dolls. Not as fancy as his, but
That's okay.
But still, they're very nice. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
very tall
Different.
one. Yeah.
There's
So-
something for everyone. We mentioned that earlier, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But you have one coming up, and that's this Saturday?
Yep.
And where is
It's
that
actually
located?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And is that information on your website?
It's on estatesales.net.
Okay. Is that where you put it all?
Yep,
Mhm.
always.
Okay.
And we will be trying to link it to the site, but we're still having some technical issues.
Oh, but here's the thing about this: when people love to go to these estate sales,
Yes.
right? They love it because they're buying all sorts of stuff. And right now, you said don't throw away a thing.
Exactly.
Pick out what means a lot to you, and then guess what? She's going to take that burden right off of you. And what makes her different than anyone else out there is that she doesn't refuse anyone. That phone number is 480-622-8818.